Wake Forest and Virginia are the two teams during the course of 2+ seasons, almost 3 seasons now, who have played in the most games in this conference that were decided right at the end. And a year from last year, that was the case last year when the two teams played. And now a year later, there's just been more added to the total for each team. And last year substantiated that because clearly it was decided on the last play. Right. You can see the possibilities of a developing story, but we should be so lucky. This Skinner's he's a marvelous player. I thought for the length of Matt Ryan's career, that certainly no player meant more to his team over an extended period of time over the last 3 years than Matt Ryan did to his team. And this is not to diminish what the other players are contributing, but Riley Skinner would fall into the same category. He makes great decisions. He's accurate. He's cool at the end of the games. He's clearly the engineer of that train. Actually, there were some teams that recruited him as a safety. And he was a safety, and as I recall, Jeff, a running back in a wing T offense. So with those, if the formation's one way, the player's the wing. The formation's the other way, he's the tailback. So there was a lot of games where he didn't have a lot of carries, just based on whether he was the wing or the tailback in the plays that they called it. But he was always in there on safety. So I do know there were some teams that had a strong interest in him as a safety. And I gave it some thought, but he came here to be a runner, and we were going to give him that chance. We're trying to take care of Cedric during the course of the week. One, he's a 5th-year player. He knows the looks. He knows pass protection, and he knows when this linebacker comes, it's his man. And so because of the nature of the game that he plays, as rugged and physical as it is, most important thing is to have him well prepared from a sight standpoint. He's seen the looks that he needs to see, but physically ready to go on Saturdays. So we moderate his plays during the course of the week. So that's resulted in the other potential runners getting their looks. Some, more on some days. For example, on Sundays, we purposely hold Cedric back so Horn gets more turns then than he does on Tuesday. But to answer your question, yes, Jackson and Horn have been regular participants in the teamwork. Clearly, what we're interested in having is a productive back, however they do it. And as we look around at backs on all levels that are productive, they more than any other position, probably more than any other position, they come in all shapes and sizes. It's great. It's a great kid. The players love him. He's so intense, and with everything. I mean, he's intense conversationally. Although he's got a good smile. He's intense in the off-season program. He's intense in training. Every play in practice, full speed ahead. The players really respect what he's put into it. Very purposeful kid. His ambition is to be a Navy SEAL. That gives you a little insight into him. And when he achieves that rank, he be one of those guys, and our knowing him will help us rest comfortably, knowing that our security is in the hands of people like him. So that's one of the things that, as we say, we root for players. We root because it's something he really wants to do. We root for him that works out. Well, he's not going to be the vertical player that those other players, but he's got very good ball skills. He's a natural catcher. Andrew's taken good advantage of his opportunity. For 5 games now, he's found himself in a lot more plays. And another example of a red-shirted player. He's better than he wasn't capable of going in and doing any of this last year. Is he a superstar at it? Hey, there's a lot to be learned yet. Every game points that out, but he's going down the road, and he's a very diligent player. So we would suspect that, when he's got 4 and 5 years of doing this, there won't be too many things that he doesn't get. He was a very raw player coming in. You could see, I think he had something like, I'm using the number, that's the one that sticks with me, 12 in high school. We know his coach well. His coach told us a lot about it. We went up and watched practices, which we had a chance to see him catch the ball much more in practice than we did in games, and had confidence that with work he would develop into a good receiver. And he's clearly progressing along that line. His career is going in a good way. He'll end up this year with between probably 15 and 20 catches. That's pretty good for a first-year backup player. Now, next year we'll see where that goes, and then, then he'll be in that 4th and 5th year time frame, and he should be ready to go. Well, I don't compare teams. They're all different. It's not fair to the previous teams, but this team has become, over the course of the season, as unified really as it could be. And that took a little process because there were so many players who were new in the mix. Just because you're on the team last year doesn't mean that you're – it's different going through the off-season program or being on the team as going through the games together. And it just took a little while for players to solidify that commitment to each other as well as to the group goals. But from that aspect, it's everything that you would ask of a team, yes.